Hi guys, today we are at Templar House Hall and here I have with me Justin. How you doing, my man?
Good.
And Charles.
How's it going?
These guys are from First Round Fitness, First Round Foundation. I didn't get myself tongue twisted in that. So we're just going to do a quick video. We're going to do more of these very soon, but this one's just about a topic. Justin did, there was an article published quite recently and it was about talking about tackling toxic masculinity. Could you talk to us, and that's in teenage boys?
Yeah, I think that in society we're finding that this is a subject that maybe is becoming more prevalent, more relevant. We don't assume that it's kind of toxic masculinity. We just assume sometimes that it's boys being boys, or that it's just the way that society has grown these young people. But I think that when we are working, when Charles and I are working very closely in schools and working with these young people, it is this kind of toxic kind of energy, this kind of thought process that showing emotions or showing that you're upset or talking about your feelings is feminine. And the reason as to why that's a toxic is categorized as toxic masculinity is because we see it predominantly in young males, and it also is it means that they're not open to sharing feelings, sharing thoughts, and actually down the line it can have very big mental health issues. What do you think on that, Charles?
Well, I mean, you see that where, like when you have children that have issues with their fathers, maybe their fathers are not there, so they don't have a positive role model to show them how a male can actually express themselves other than being, aggressive. So, I mean, we see it all the time, we give a child, normally a young male, a pair of gloves, and they feel that the first thing for them to do is prove that they're strong, that they've got power, and that is normally to lash out against another boy. So what we try to do within the boxing is try to discipline them, trying to get them to follow specific rules. And sometimes, with the drills of exercise, we tell them that, look, these things are the things that you have to overcome, and then once we see that, or once they see that, they're progressing, some of the hidden traumas, we can then help them with that. So, boxing is a good way to get them to, identify themselves with, other males that are doing boxing, but then straight away, once they're in a class with us, we see that, the traumas, the mental health issues that Justin said, that obviously are stemming from, the home environment. So, yeah.
Sure. And the question to you guys, I mean, again, boxing, young people have so much energy. They're full of vibe. They want to get out there, and like you said, some of the times prove themselves.
Yeah.
And do you find that it encourages confidence and peer building as well? So some kids may,
of course,
be a bit shy.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we kind of also try to create within our sessions, is kind of like a family feel for the young people to feel comfortable, not only to discuss with us about any issues that they are having away from our sessions, but also just for them for some of those young people that you mentioned that maybe feel low confidence, low self-esteem, and to actually come to the sessions and to build upon what they have. Because actually, when you look at the young people who are getting themselves into issues, are getting themselves into problems, they are actually some of the ones that really suffer with low self-esteem, and they mask it by being the ones that are aggressive or being the ones that are loud. Actually, they have underlying some subconscious issues that are not addressed, and a lot of society just pushes them to the side and say, you know, this child's bad and this child's whatever. But those are the ones that actually need the assistance and need the help the most.
And we see this a lot in sort of like schools and colleges and universities even, you know, where some people are adults but their child still is within them as well, because they haven't really addressed that childhood issues and they've turned into adults, so they don't really know. Would you agree when they don't really know when they're an adult? So in terms of committing crimes or doing something where they're not, you know, they could be still kind of like quite immature. Would you agree that might be some of the issues that we're facing out on the streets these days?
I think it's clear, like when you look at even the school system is just built around that kind of bell curve shape. Get as many kids onto the next stage as possible, and whatever happens to the rest, you know, we don't really care. Just as long as we can get like maybe 20 out of the 25 kids onto the next stage. And it's almost like that kind of, you know, like when you find that kind of line where you're working in a factory, you know, and you just get them, you know, and you slowly identify the bad apples later on down the line, where you see some of the factory workers that weren't able to take the bad ones off the shelf. So it's clear, like when you're dealing with some of the adults now that are dealing with mental health issues, they were pushed through, you know, secondary school, you know, college, you know, university as a way to kind of mask the issues that they had. And I think there's no amount of money or, you know, career success that will take away those mental health issues. You actually have to deal with them. And I think the sessions that we're doing with the kids, you know, work on 2 tiers to help young kids that have these problems, you know, to, you know, be in an environment where they can do something that they feel that they kind of identify with, you know, the aggression, but channeled aggression, you know. And then we have also the kids that, you know, want to develop in a sport that isn't really encouraged within schools, but then to see the art form of boxing, you know. So there are those 2 things that, you know, we try to deal with in there.
And it's really important to bring that into the community, because obviously we have it at schools, we have it at colleges, we have facilities, we have at sports centres. Many people aren't able to access those places. Perhaps there's membership required, or, you know, just generally parents don't really find that, or, you know, it's expensive and whatnot. There is a money factor to it, but it's great to bring that into community to promote fitness. And you guys have kind of come like a blessing, because, you know, we've actually been searching for some people to come forwards and help us with this as well.
And boxing clubs are quite intimidating anyway. You know, they're really kind of old-fashioned in the way how they deal with things. If you have a child that comes in, you know, they're not welcomed in. They're kind of, oh, so you want to box, eh? Oh, what's your background? What have you been doing? You know, and already the child feels that, you know, intimidated. So we try to take a different approach, where we try to show them, look, this is going to require a lot of work, but you place a bit of trust in us, then it's similar to the way how even a teacher would teach at school. You know, the child has to trust you first. You know, you just can't start bombarding them with information, because it won't stick. There will always be something in their brain that is a barrier of distrust for that person who's giving out the information. So you need to really allow them to step into your environment and feel, you know, comfortable.
Of course. And obviously you guys you know, act as mentors as well, you know. I've recently seen a program on TV, can't remember what the name was, as a football coach who was a mentor for somebody that they trained, and they looked at him like a father figure, because they didn't have that kind of father figure. And
I think some of them look at me like a big brother.
Big brother,
Maybe not the father yet, but and I think, you know, Charles touched on that point slightly earlier in regards to the fact that some of these young people that maybe are suffering with underlying mental health issues, or just can't find their place in society at this present time, maybe they're the ones that at home they don't have that male role model, or you know, it's very in and out of their lives, and in that respect, you will find that when you're dealing with these young people and you're doing the coaching, or even just to be there on a regular occurrence, they start to see you as a positive role model and start to copy what you're doing and speak to you a bit more openly. So, you know, I think that naturally, just as us being doing what we're doing, we do kind of take that kind of big brother, you know, positive male role model in these young people's lives, and we just hope that they are listening and taking on what we do say in a positive aspect and helping them push forwards.
Yeah. And you also, I'm sure you give them a good night's sleep, so they at least, you know, get tired and get a good night, 8-9 hours
well,
sleep.
You know, especially these the ones that we do, the sessions that we do in the evening. I'm sure they go back home and they're quite tired. They eat and they sleep. But I think it also helps when we go to the school and we have a session in the middle of the day, or we have a session in the morning with some of these kids, and it just burns out their energy, and then they're able to go back into school, able to focus on the sessions that they're, you know, or the lessons that they're supposed to be in working with, and then they move on productively. I think there's a big problem in our society with the way that our kids go out and go to the shop every day, or go to the corner shop before school and get to Twix and get the Lucozade and go to school on energy and sugar, but that's a completely different topic.
Just about, I mean, I know it's a different topic, but kids drinking energy drinks, what is your views on that?
I think that it shouldn't be allowed at all.
I think there is an age limit.
Yeah, I definitely think. I think, you know, subconsciously, we don't realize the fact that when you're drinking these energy drinks, when you're drinking, especially when you're having high sugar content drinks, it actually releases a chemical in the brain that's similar to like cocaine and heroin, and actually they're doing this on a regular basis, daily, before they go to school. So actually what you're doing is you're programming them to think that they can't function without these sugary drinks. You're making them believe that these sugary drinks are what's good for them, or is a positive. So every time they're drinking it, they're getting this buzz, they're getting this high, and they're thinking, oh, this is good, this is fun, so I'm going to keep doing it. And actually, what happens is that's when you get this kind of unhealthy relationship with food. And this unhealthy relationship with sugar, and then obviously we've seen in the recent years the obesity levels rise, you know, heart disease, heart problems, and all kind of weight issues increase in our young people, and it's a lot to do with the fact that the culture has allowed them to go out and drink these fizzy drinks.
And I'm surprised because I went to a shop a couple of months ago and I expected the kids to buy cans of like the sort of cartons of Ribena or people getting Red Bull and Boost and stuff. And I was like, wow, you know. And you're absolutely right. The crash that happens after that, I'm sure it affects them. But listen, guys, I just want to thank you really much, right, for doing this for us. And we're going to do loads more videos. So, guys, first round fitness, first round foundation. I didn't tongue twist again. We're going to be back with other videos. So keep watching.
Thank you.
Thanks.